What's up? It's Mario Heron, Wages and Warriors. You might have heard me on Bull Crew Podcast, Dave Pele and Josh Pele, but talking a little UFC action here. Last week, a little tough, not on the card a little bit. Sean Strickland didn't come through for us. He said, hey, I'm going to do the exact same game plan, and that lost last time, and we're going to go. Let's run it back. Let's see if it works this time. Spoiler alert, guys. Did not work. So he loses to DDP. We'll see what happens with DDP next. I think he's going to take on Hamzat next. That's his big fight, I think, and that's what makes most sense in the middleweight division. Sean Strickland, it's going to be a long way back up. You lost 2 times to DDP, and it didn't really show like you looked, showed any improvement in that. He's still a very talented fighter, still extremely fun to watch. I would tune into every single one of his UFC fights. Still love him as a fighter. He just was outmatched in this one, and that stinks, man. It happens, and he ended up got a bad end of it. So it's all fun, but hey, we move on to this week. And this week, we have a UFC fight night for this one. And it's Jared Cannonier, Gregory Rodrigues is the main event in this fight night. So going to be a pretty excited one, and we'll go ahead and get started with it and some of the action that we got on this one. Like, share, and subscribe, even if you hate it, even if you love it. Share it, subscribe it. Be like, dude, this guy sucks. Or like, share it, but hey, this is pretty cool. Either way, I don't really care. Just please do it. Spread it around. And have a great day. Happy Valentine's Day as well to all the ladies and the guys. Get some flowers. My niece loves flowers. Saw her smell one this morning. It was really, really cute. Shout out to her. All right, Connor Matthews versus Jose Delgado. Connor Matthews, the controller. He's a pretty good fighter. Former special tactics operator in the U.S. Shout out to him. Shout out Vets. Last loss, he got KO, TKO. He faces Jose Delgado. It's his first fight in the UFC. He's pretty young, 26 years old. Won in the Contender Series with a knee in the head. He's a finisher, man. 8-1. 4 wins by TKO, 4 wins by submissions. He has a little bit of a height advantage in this one. I just think he's a more complete fighter. I think in order for him to win this fight, he just has to keep his distance from Connor Matthews, who can really, really do some damage to, maybe even attack you, kind of go for a shoot. But if he can keep his ground, which I think he can, I think he'll win this fight. He's a pretty heavy favorite in this. To face a way of how he's going to beat Matthews, I would just kind of stay away from. I would just try and enjoy this fight. But I think Jose is going to really handle him here. I think he's going to take it pretty well. I like the odds for it. Jose by KO, TKO is plus 175. I don't hate that, but that is the worst odds that you get in ways in which he'll win. By decision/technical decisions, plus 200. And then by submission, plus 400. So submission one, I just want to touch. I think Matthews is a little too experienced on the ground. I don't think he's going to lose that way. I think he's too good at it. And that's not the way Jose is going to be able to expose him. So that's where I would lean in that one. Moving on to Rodolfo Vieira versus Andre Petroski. This is going to be a good one. So for Vieira, he's called the black belt hunter because when he was a brown belt, he beat like one of the most famous black belts in jiu-jitsu in the world. And that was like, oh my God, Snikes. That's pretty surprising. It's pretty cool stuff. So he gets the name Black Belt Hunter, and boys, he is just a scientist on the ground. Out of his 10 wins, 9 of them are by submission. And if you're stuck in kind of a grappling match with him in the octagon, boy, are you in trouble. Hasn't fought in a year, but 2 fights in a row by submission. He is an artist on the ground, like I've been saying. He's going to do a lot of damage to you there. I think in this fight, Andre's kind of taking it on a short notice, which never really benefits, I think, any fighter, but especially when you have to face a guy that is that much of a grappler. I think that kind of hurts you a little bit. You haven't really been training for him either. You're taking it on short notice. I think Vieira's going to be like, a college kid on a Saturday night. Just shoot, and shoot on him. I mean, why else would you do that? That's his bread and butter. Go ahead and do it. Play the hits, baby. Play the classics. Play the stones. So I like by submission for Vieira plus 125. I think that's the smartest option there for that fight. I'm actually really excited for that one. Ismail versus we have Nazim Sadikov. Hey, I told you guys, speech impediment. Mentioned that a couple shows back. Gets you sometimes. All right, but in this one, Ismail's very experienced fighter, 20-4, 5.8 significant strikes landed per minute. Absorbs a little bit less significant strikes than Nazim, so he gets that advantage there. But Nazim, man, 9-1, 6 KOs. Only loss was a submission, and that was back in 2018. So it's been quite a while since he's been in there. Southpaw fighter. He has an amazing takedown defense. If you try to shoot on him, guess what? You're coming right back up, buddy. But he's a very high-level striker with 4.9 significant strikes landed per minute. Both these guys are very, very talented strikers. Probably of all the fights on this card, I would probably say this one's going to be one of the most exciting ones because these guys are just freaking haymakers. And they're going to toss with the best of them. And it's going to be pretty exciting to see where it goes. So when this fight comes on, make sure you got the popcorn and make sure you sit all the family, all around the TV and yell at the kids to shut the hell up, or you put them to bed. It's gonna be pretty late at night, so put them to bed. But I think it's gonna be a really good one. I lean because of Nazim's kind of height, and I think he's a little bit of a better striker. I would lean him here. He also has advantage in grappling, so if he wants to kind of maybe Ishmael's kind of tagging him up a little bit in the striking game. If he wants to shoot for it, he could probably shoot and take him down a little bit and do a little ground and pound and maybe win a round or two that way. And he's plus money right now, like on the money line at plus 180. I think that's a pretty good bet. He's more than willing to stand up. But like I said, if there's opportunities to change up the fight, is just change the angle and change the pace of it. I think he can do that against Ismail. And at that price of plus 180, I'll dance with it. I'll take it out on a date. I'll marry it. I'll, happy Valentine's Day with it. So that's a way I'd lean in that fight. Edmund Shagbazian. So pronunciations, we're getting there, fellas. That's the next fight that we got here. It's versus Dylan Paducah. Edmund 13-5. His 5 losses, 3 by TKO. These 5 losses, by the way, came in his last 7 fights. So he's been on a very tough streak, man. Life's been a little rough for the fella. He's lost 2 of his last 3 fights besides the 5 in the last 7. They came by submission, and they also came by TKO by Anthony Hernandez. Dylan, if you want to know another cool nickname, they put it up there, the Mindless Hulk, which I don't know if that's also calling you stupid because mindless. All right, that's kind of mean, Hulk was still a little smart in the end. Bruce Banner, scientist. Yeah, he was a little smart, maybe a little dumb for getting that, green juice all over him and crap and becoming that. But, still pretty smart guy. But anyways, Dylan's 7-4. He's lost 2 straight fights. Both these guys are fighters that really need a desperate win, are really trying to get back in the win column. Anytime I see kind of that, I automatically go to right away, oh, this is not going to go the distance because it's 2 guys that really need this thing to be a highlight, to be a statement. That's the way I always look at these. Like, oh, these guys are 2 guys that are very desperate for wins, that really need a confidence booster, and that really need to show Dana White, like, hey, I'm still a very good fighter. I can still compete in the UFC. I can still be, one of your top fighters. And by the way, it's in the middleweight division that's getting pretty freaking crowded really quickly of top tier fighting talent. So these guys are both eager to make a statement. And for that reason, I would always just lean it for it not to go the distance. You can't find great value on that. It's at minus 190. So whoever you like in the fight, I know Edmund's a pretty big favorite. So if you like him to go the distance or win, or just take him, if you want to take by knockout, or that would probably be the way I would kind of lean in that one. I would go that way. So just voting for that one, but that thing's not finishing. That thing ain't going the full 3. Highly doubt it. These guys are going to go in to make a statement. So that's it for that one. Now we move on to Calvin Kattar versus Yosef Zalal. Kattar, 36 years old. Boy, he's been around the block. 36 wins by KO, 2 wins by submissions, 10 first-round finishes. He's 23-8. 4.7 significant strikes landed per minute. 72% takedown defense. Very elite. You want to take him down? Like I said, he come right back up, baby. Right back up. Kattar's on a 3-fight losing streak, though. But that being said, it was against all guys that are top 10 fighters in the featherweight division. Arnold Allen, 7th ranked. Josh Emmett, 8th. Sterling, 9th. Like, these guys all, it's not some Joe Schmoes that he's losing to. No, these are very talented, top tierish UFC fighters. But, Calvin's on the back half of his career. Sucks to see. But he's facing a guy that's 28 years old. He's on a 6-fight win streak since returning to featherweight. 3 straight since joining the UFC. And in that 3 straight, submission. Woo! He might shoot on you, ladies and gentlemen. But that being said, if you shoot on Calvin Kattar, like I said, 72% takedown defense. So he's going to get you. It's going to be hard to kind of get into him and get that action and take him down because, he's facing the top tier fighters and he's been able to stand up in those fights. So can Yosef kind of take him down? Can he do that? Maybe. Am I going to bet on it? Hey, probably not. But I'll take Yosef to actually go on the points because I think that is the best likely outcome. In this fight. So I'll go and take Yosef. He's been begging for a top 10 fight and just on a 3-fight win streak. This is his opportunity. This is his chance. So I'll go ahead and take him right there. Points minus 135. That's how I like that one. Because I don't think Calvin's going to go down without a fight. I think guys going to be swinging for the fences and doing everything he can to make sure he stays on this fight and not go down. So that's what I like for that one. All right, now let's talk a little main event action. Let's start singing and we'll start dancing with it. Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodrigues. Middleweight fight is going to be a really good one here, guys, for the main event. And this card, Jared's 17-8, 10 wins by KO, 2 wins by submission, 7 first round finishes. 4.49 significant strikes landed, 4.39 significant strikes landed, absorbed. 100% brawler that would be ready to fight and go. God, he's entertaining to watch. He also, people don't forget, he's the guy that beat Sean Strickland back in 2022. And now it's 2025. I get it, but hey, let's remember, he also went 5 full rounds with Israel Adesanya at the peak of his powers in 2022 in the same year. He's fallen off tough times. But, he lost. His last loss was to the 6th fighter in his division in the middleweight. So what are you going to do? The last 2 fights have been insanely tough. But now he fights a guy in Gregory Rodrigues that's a little scary. Gregory Rodrigues, 10 KO, TKOs, 3 submissions, 3 decisions, and his 16 wins. His 5 losses, 3 KO, TKOs, and 2 decisions. By the way, he's kind of like not bad jiu-jitsu. 8-time national Brazilian jiu-jitsu champion. Woo, that's pretty good. He had a shot at the UFC in the Contender Series back in 2020, but lost. But hey, now he made his way back, baby. Never give up on your dreams, like they say. But he's on a 3-fight win streak right now. Last fight he won was against Christina Leroy Duncan, and that was by decision. Then he beat another guy TKO KO. They beat Dennis by KO. 5.52 significant strikes landed. Whoo! He can strike, baby. He can freaking toss them. And then 4.69 significant strikes absorbed too. So he can throw them. He can take them. Very talented jiu-jitsu guy, like I said. And he's kind of up and coming's the best word, but he's trying to rise up in this division that's pretty packed right now. And he's facing a very well-experienced, well-rounded, been around the block fighter in the middleweight division in Jared, and he needs a win. And Jared needs a win to kind of get his kind of career back. It's going to be a pretty hard test for Gregory Rodrigues. I'd argue it's probably his hardest fight in the UFC. But he's facing a guy that Jared's going to want to stand up and toss. And I think Gregory, while he can do it, obviously with the 5.52 significant strikes landed per minute, like obviously he can toss with the best of them. And obviously he can do a lot of damage that way. But he's a jiu-jitsu guy. So like, wouldn't you want to, if you have a chance to shoot and get that takedown and do it that way, wouldn't you do it? Wouldn't you do it? That's all I'm going to say. That's all I keep thinking about. And right now, let's see about his submission. So submission is plus 550. Decisions plus 500. KO, TKO minus 110 for Rodrigues. I think Rodrigues wins this fight. I think there's no doubt about it. I don't think Jared has, I don't want to say doesn't stand a chance because that sounds really, really, mean and brutal to Jared. But I think Rodrigues wins this fight. I think he's actually going to be able to do it in a submission style, a plus 550. It's juicy, and that's why I like it. So give me that one, plus 550 submission over Jared. Let's get a little dicey. Let's get a little excited. So I like it for that one. Now, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. That's all I got for this card today. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to Wages and Warriors. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did enjoy the show, comment below. If you did, comment below. If you hate it, if you love it, comment below. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Wages and Warriors with Mario Heron. Thank you.